Welcome to the Perspective Podcast, where we take a step back from the bustle of professional life and explore the passions of the people who make up Edmonton's business community. Today we're joined by Masa Idelbi. Masa, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Thanks.
Masa is an HR executive with Rohit Group.
HR advisor.
An HR advisor with the Rohit Group of companies. Masa, could you start off by telling us a little bit about what you do?
Sure. Okay, so my name is Masa.
Yes.
I have been with the Rohit Group for over 3 years, 3.5 years, and I oversee most of the recruitment initiatives for the company. So we hire a lot of people. We're in the growth mode. We're in 4 divisions in Edmonton, Calgary, Regina, and Fort Mac. And I do everything as a journalist. So we do employee relations, we do recruitment, benefits, conflict management, performance development, training and development, you name it.
Very cool.
On a personal level, I have 2 kids. So
Cool.
I have Delara, who is 8 years old. That's my daughter. And my son Jude, he's 5 years old. We do so many activities. We
Yeah.
do skating, we do piano,
Cool.
gymnastics.
Yeah, it keeps your hands full.
For sure.
Awesome.
And I have my family as well, so I take care of my parents. And what else?
Well, it seems like a pretty full life so far.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
I know there's some other things that you're also working on, which we'll get to. What do you love about your job, first of all? I know I see you on LinkedIn, you seem pretty passionate about what you do. What is it that you love about being an HR advisor?
I would say I like the interactions with staff. So I would like to give some sort of coaching, whether it's like life situations or whether it's like personal development or conflict situations. I like to feel like I can listen. I can actively listen to
Yeah.
our staff and help them throughout any situation.
Okay,
So they
very
feel
cool.
that they have someone that can support them
Yeah.
and listen to them.
Yeah. So you're very much a people person.
Yes, I am.
And
I focus on the relationship
Right.
building.
Right. And you probably have a very high level of emotional intelligence from what I can gather.
I would like to think so,
Yeah,
but
very cool.
I like one instance, like I had a senior employee who came to me and told me about the situation with his manager.
Yeah.
And then I asked him many questions. Where do you want to be? How are you doing?
Yeah.
How's your well-being? And he told me that it was the first time that someone asked him
Wow.
about these questions.
Yeah.
And it's made me feel a lot of meaning to what I am adding value to.
Yeah, you're bringing the humanity back to the workplace, right? I think that would be a good way to put it.
And a lot of you would like to think that these conversations happen often, but it doesn't.
They really don't. They really don't. And that's one of the reasons I started this podcast, because even like the inter-business relationships, like when you're working with people, it's always just professional and you don't really
Get
you don't
involved
really
or
get to
have
know
a meaningful
them. Yeah.
conversation or dig deeper,
Yeah,
you know
it's
what I
like
mean?
the
And build
humanity of it
this
is removed. Yeah.
trust relationship. And
Yeah.
that's when like I feel people come back to you with more and different things, you know what I mean?
Exactly,
Because you
exactly.
break this ice or
Yeah.
wall
Yeah.
as like unlike HR professional, you know what I mean? Where
Yeah.
you're just like avoided, like I don't want to talk to HR.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean?
No, that's exactly right. Yeah. So what were you doing before Rohit? You were from Syria.
Yes, I moved.
Tell us a little bit about that
Yeah.
experience.
Sure. So I moved to Canada in 2007 as a teenager. I was doing my Bachelor of Business Administration. I was doing my English Literature degree from back home. So I was in my 3rd year, and I came here. I always wanted to discover the business world. So my education is all like linguistics and literature.
Very cool.
So I have to do my pure math. So I did my pure math, got that into an online course, got accepted into NATE. And I was in my 4th year from back home doing online courses, and my 1st year at NATE doing my business administration and human resources management. And I completed the 4-year program
Yeah.
while having my 2 kids.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of support. I have a lot
Yeah.
of like family
That's
and
always very
and
helpful. Yeah.
to help me with that.
Awesome. What was the transition like socially? Like from being from Syria to coming to Canada? what was that social transition like? Was there some adjustments that had to happen, or
you know
was
what? I was
feeling
very
like?
excited. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I was like, it happens to a lot of people. You know, I was so young and I was
Yeah.
so excited
Yeah.
about like the move
So how
itself.
old were you when you moved?
19.
19.
I was
Yeah. So
19.
those were like your.
You know what I mean? I was like, I was
teenage years,
younger. I was like walking
Yeah.
down the street, smiling to people.
Yeah.
You know, I was excited. I
Yeah.
knew that I have an opportunity that I can learn, I can explore life, I can study what I want, you know what I mean? And I'll be able to make some sort of positive difference
Yeah, for sure.
in people's life. And I was able to
Totally.
identify that at a younger age.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and that's something we're going to touch on later as well, because you mentioned that if you had, or you would like to create the opportunity to go back and help people in
Yes.
Syria, particularly women.
yes.
So we'll touch on that. But before we go there, yeah, you seem like a very busy lady, but there's still more that we haven't even touched on yet that you are working on. Tell us a little bit about thriftyatopy.
Sure. So it's my my initiative with my sister. So we met in LA, and that's like a month ago, and she was working on this. My sister, she's my twin sister. She's in Boston, and
Are you guys fraternal or maternal?
yeah, fraternal.
Yeah.
We don't look.
Oh,
She looks
cool.
way younger and shorter
Alright.
than me. She teaches French at Bridgewater University. She always had the passion for linguistics, and we thought of doing something positive. So we wanted to give a second life to used items. We wanted to foster a little, or like some sort of sustainable, ethical fashion, where a lot of people have the stigma that I don't want to buy a pre-owned clothes.
Yeah.
Like they don't feel good about it, and especially coming from the Middle East, there's a lot of stigma for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we wanted like, let's help, let's go, let's partner up with Goodwill, with like all these organizations, and be able to get these items and add a little bit like a cool messaging spark, we call it, in any language, so that it's more appealing for people.
Very cool.
So she gave me a shirt that writes my name on it in Arabic,
Very
and I loved it. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
just like it shows a little bit of like the pride and heritage
Yeah.
where you're coming from.
Yeah.
So we wanted to make it more universal.
Very
So
cool.
anyone in any language, like Russian, Spanish, Hindi,
Very
whatever you would like to showcase to the world.
Very
Whether
cool.
it's like a strong case that you believe in your name, anything. And it's for a very affordable price.
Yeah, totally.
So it's not that we're like, you know what I mean, like getting the thrifted items and you're making a fortune
Yeah,
out of it.
yeah,
We are
yeah.
not doing that.
Right,
We are just like truly believe that we want to reduce the pollutants or
Yeah.
the footprints
Yeah,
of
that's
actually
huge.
producing.
Sustainability is So
Yes.
that's a very cool initiative. It's like you're taking sort of a personal touch. You're giving a personal touch to the clothing instead of just like Goodwill will take your old stuff and then just resell it, right?
Exactly. Yes.
That's an interesting twist to add a personal touch, make it more appealing, and
That's
then
true.
also have that component of the sustainability and renewing the clothing. It's very
Yes,
cool.
That's good. Thank
Very
you.
nice, yeah. I like that. So another thing that I would like to talk to you about is you had mentioned that one thing that you see in the business community is that many business professionals suffer from high levels of anxiety and stress. Can you touch on that a little bit?
Yes,
Yeah,
sure.
let's hear about
Okay, so as an HR professional, it happens a lot where I feel like people come to us like, oh, like I'm not feeling well, I'm taking a couple of days off. With stress and anxiety is the number one reason for missing work in Canada, which is alarming.
Yeah.
So I feel a lot of like this generation or like different generations. I don't want to be specific or like target specific age group, but a lot of people tend to be more spoiled or not ready to confront or face real life situations.
Right.
So it's like daily stressors. Like I am a mom, I have 2 kids, I'm on my own for 2 weeks most of the time as my husband works out of town. And I have family to take care of, I have a big circle of friends, you're trying to establish or prove yourself at work, you try to take care of your family. I understand all of these happen, but like coming from a different world, coming from Syria, where we suffered a lot from dictatorship, oppression, injustice, inequality, scarcity, competitiveness. There's a lot of negative things that's happening that to me, these are the real stressors. It makes my daily stressors, I put them into perspective.
Yes.
Because like I wouldn't, like a mom who lost 6 kids, this is a real human crisis.
Exactly.
For someone like me, like stressing about a project or 2 or an interview or like 6 interviews a day, like it happens, I understand. But you know what I mean? Let's put things into perspective. Like a lot of people take things for granted. They're just like, there's less appreciation for little things in life that my parents and grandparents used to value. So we often, I feel like, tend to postpone or forget about happiness until we achieve a specific target that we put in our minds. So I wouldn't be happy until I get that raise, or until I get that promotion now, or until I find this perfect partner, or until I go to that specific destination. So we're always like postponing our happiness and missing these little things in life that adds a lot of value. And to me, this is not the right way to do it.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Like, to me, like coming from feeling all the adversity and all the things that happens in my country, I feel like it empowered me to do more and more meaningful things and put trivial things. And I'm trying not to underestimate like people who are like needs like antidepressants. Like it happens, we all like handle stress differently. But I still think like we can control our emotions and reactions to different stressors. And
what would you recommend to somebody who's going through that in life? What would you recommend they do? Because I think I have an idea of what your answer might be, but let's hear it.
You know what? I fell a victim of it. I'm not gonna try to preach something that I don't do. Like like a lot of time I call my husband like, oh, I have this and this and this to do. So he's like, remember your words? That's what he told me. There's a fine line between being ambitious and hungry and want to get more and obtain more and do more, and being ungrateful and greedy. You know what I mean? There's like, it's easy. So I try to catch myself, I try to be aware that like, Masa, okay, now like I need to trust the timing of things. I'm still younger in my, you know what I mean? Early in my career. I can't expect everything to happen right away. You know what I mean? I need to trust the timing of things. I need to build, I need to get exposed to different situations in life. And I think, as I said, I try to open up my heart and think of things outside of the bubble that we live in.
Exactly, yeah.
You know what I mean? When I read about like inspiring stories, when I read about people in Africa, when I see stories from people in Syria, who like all these humane stories, I think that people are missing big time.
Exactly, yeah. And those stories really help to build your perspective, right? And so for you, being from Syria and being so connected to all of the, the catastrophe that is happening out there, it makes it, it helps you to broaden your perspective. Whereas a lot of people living here in Canada who have been kind of living in a silo of peace and prosperity,
and they take things like a lot of people for granted that I'm entitled to this. No, you're not entitled. You still need to show up to work. You still need to commit. You still need to work hard. And if you're struggling, we're here to help. Like not that we're trying to judge you that you can't. Like you still like take your time, collect your ideas, start fresh, do whatever you need to do to take care of yourself. You know what I mean? To give you a little bit of more positive.
For sure. I also think that storytelling is one thing that can help people broaden their perspective, right? Once they're able to put themselves into other people's shoes. I feel like another thing is also volunteerism. Right? And so you have a goal to one day. I'll just let you speak on it. I don't want to put words into your mouth.
That's fine. All is good. So I always that's the thing. I always wanted to do something bigger, something of a value. So I always dreamed to have, or like this is my mission, is to go back to the Middle East or any third world country and support any female to highlight the importance of education and social and financial independence. So these are the two main things that I feel there's a lot of females, they're great there, they're driven, they want to do things, but they don't necessarily know how to do that. They don't have the opportunities. So for me, coming here at a younger age and exploring and getting exposed gave, and the fact that I went and studied and all of that gave me hopefully like the confidence to go back and help support these females.
Very cool.
It's kind of like a social reform, you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
And
It's
again,
needed.
like based on like all the adversity that's happened, I feel like you kind of feel like obliged that you want to do something of a positive influence for these people.
Yeah,
So yeah.
for sure. Very cool. Very cool. And so when do you see that that panning out for yourself? Is that something that you're going to wait until maybe you retire and things kind of settle down a little bit and then you'll have a little bit more time to put into that? Or is that something you're looking at pursuing sooner?
You know what? It's a tough question.
It is,
because like
isn't it?
for me, I don't know, like I feel like I'm still learning.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like a lot of people like they're like, Masa, you should become a blogger or become an influencer. I said like, come on, like there's so many good people doing it who has like years of experience and coaching. There's a lot of like discipline for this. Like you need to work on your own personal development first. You know what I mean?
100%.
I wouldn't be able to help someone if I'm still like junior or
Yeah.
I still need to learn and get exposed
You're still
more.
becoming equipped so
That's
that one day
true.
you'll be ready to bring that value to the community.
So that's what I feel
Very cool.
I am waiting for to happen.
Yeah.
But I'm open. Like if there's any sort of like someone who would collaborate and we'll be able to start something from now, I'm more than open to
Right.
to start the journey, right?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm excited to see what the future holds for Masa.
Thank you.
Thank you for
so
joining
much.
us.
Yes,
Thank you for joining us, Masa.
Okay, thanks.
That was awesome. Thank you for joining us. Make sure to tune in next time for some more great content.